6 Rosicrucian-Freemasonic images confirming Francis Bacon is Shakespeare. The second Rosicrucian Manifesto, the Confessio Fraternitatis in 1615, contains a piece of devastating information never mentioned by Stratfordian orthodoxy. Its secret anonymous author, Bacon, points out how easily people are deceived with enigmas and delusions. Ironically, one of them being of his own creation, which has misled and beguiled for centuries. For conclusion of our confession, we must earnestly admonish you that you cast away, if not all, yet most of the worthless books of pseudo-chemists, to whom it is a jest to apply the most holy Trinity to vain things, or to deceive men with monstrous symbols and enigmas, or to profit by the curiosity of the credulous. Our age doth produce many such, one of the greatest being a stage player, a man with sufficient ingenuity for imposition. Previously, we have seen how Bacon and his Rosicrucian Brotherhood issued a series of emblems and title pages depicting Bacon and his literary mask William Shakespeare. The first of these, in 1616, the Plempi emblem, depicts Fortune standing on a globe, raising up Bacon and pushing down his literary mask, the actor William Shakespeare. The frontispiece of Speculum in 1618 shows the same two figures as in the Plempi emblem, Francis Bacon and the impostor William Shakespeare. 7 years after the death of Shakespeare of Stratford, Bacon published his Shakespeare First Folio in 1623, the greatest Rosicrucian-Freemasonic work in the history of the world. This was followed shortly after by Cryptomentaces, early in 1624. Its title page shows Bacon giving the actor William Shakespeare one of his Shakespeare plays to be acted at the Globe Theatre. In 1626, the year that Francis Bacon died to the world, there appeared his utopia New Atlantis, an island governed by his Rosicrucian Brotherhood, whose great college is called Solomon's House, an allusion to Solomon's Temple, the central legend of its other body, the Freemasonry Brotherhood. The emblem on the title page of New Atlantis bears the inscription, "Hidden Truth Brought Forth by Time," or, "In time the hidden truth will be revealed." Baudouin published a new edition of Bacon's Wisdom of the Ancients in 1641, with an important frontispiece little known outside of specialist Baconian scholars. The frontispiece depicts Pallas Athena, the goddess of knowledge and wisdom, brandishing or Shakespeare, hence Bacon's nom de plume Shakespeare. Above her head, on which she is seen wearing her helmet of invisibility, and on her shield of truth, appear two mottos. Truth is enveloped in obscurity, and thus it shines in the shadows. A Latin edition of Bacon's Henry VII was published in Holland in 1642. On the left side of the title page, as we look at it, is the figure of Bacon, who, as denoted by the roses on his shoes, is a Rosicrucian philosopher. Standing next to him is a knight in full armour who, like Bacon, is shown touching the figure of the Virgin or Fortune standing upon a globe. On the lower level, to the right of the Virgin, we see the same Bacon, now wearing actor's boots, stopping the wheel with the shaft of a spear. The figure standing next to him on the lower level is not a knight, but an actor, as shown by his Roman helmet, collar of lace, laced leggings, and the fact he is wearing actor's boots, with the left boot singularly sporting a spur, suggesting Shakespeare, as it was sometimes spelt, or Shakespeare, the Stratford actor. The actor's left hand extends to the globe, and his right grasps the shaft of the spear. To reinforce that he's Shakespeare the actor, he is shaking the spear held by Bacon. Above the head of the actor, upon the wheel being turned by the Virgin, is the emblem of the plays, marked by the usual device of crossed lines, a mirror held up to nature. In her right hand, to the left as we look at it, the Virgin is holding a salt box of above Bacon's head, representing wisdom. A similar figure to the one that appears on the engraved title page of the 1642 Latin edition also appears on the 1641 Latin edition of Bacon's Essays. In the engraving, Bacon is pointing to the figure of the Virgin holding a scroll signifying poetry to reveal he's a poet. The two symbols of a clasped book sitting next to an hourglass informs us that in time the secret that Bacon is the supreme poet and author of the Shakespeare works will be revealed to the world when the time is right. On the title page of this rare 1644 work, the figure of Shakespeare, decked out in the garb of an actor, has a rosary hanging from his right arm and what appears to be a large cross underneath his left arm. Standing on the left side of Archbishop Laud is the figure of Francis Bacon. He is wearing the familiar Bacon hat and ruff, and attached to his shoes are his Rosicrucian rosettes. He is symbolised by the hog's head, on which his right foot is resting. Bacon is reaching out his left hand in which he holds some game to symbolise an inducement. Understanding the nature and the reason for the financial inducement, with his purse hanging from his right arm, Shakespeare reaches out to receive it. Bacon, like Archbishop Laud himself, is making his own Faustian pact, not with the devil but with the Stratford actor William Shakespeare, to conceal his secret authorship of the Shakespeare works. In 1645 appeared the anonymous The Great Assizes holden in Parnassus by Apollo and his assessors, at which sessions are arraigned. Underneath the heading of Apollo, the god of poetry and prophecy, Bacon Lord Verulam is placed first and designated Chancellor of Parnassus, i.e. the greatest of all the poets, namely Shakespeare. Below, reading across the page, William Shakespeare is described as the writer of weekly accounts, i.e. a tradesman and moneylender. On page 31 it says, Shakespeare's a mimic. In other words, he is not a poet or a dramatist, he is an impersonator or a sham, a mere actor and tradesman. The Shakespeare First Folio and Bacon's De Augmentis were published within weeks of each other in late 1623. The title page of the little-known later edition of Bacon's De Augmentis, published in Holland in 1645, clearly reveals the concealed truth about the authorship of the Shakespeare works. Its engraving represents the mountain of Parnassus, the mythical home to Apollo, god of poetry, and the Muses, the goddesses of poetry and drama, with winding steps leading up to a Freemasonic temple. In the title page, the figure representing Bacon is seated in front of a large folio, his Divine Shakespeare First Folio, with his left hand controlling his literary mask, William Shakespeare, clad in an actor's goatskin, holding a clasped book, like the old Masonic rituals representing his Rosicrucian-Freemasonic brotherhood, who to the present day closely guard and watch over Bacon's secret life and writings, including his concealed authorship of the Shakespeare works.